welcome back to my channel, Aquarian Empress Tarot. You guys, we are back. We are back. Masculine and feminine. I'll give y'all a few minutes to hop in the live because I will not be here long. I just won't. But I'll give y'all a few minutes to hop in the live. Tonight is Real Talk. I've changed the title from Girl Talk to Real Talk because that's what it really is. All right. Hey, Miriam. So for people hopping in, I am not doing readings tonight. This is just Wisdom Wednesday. Hey, Melanie Loves. This is just Wisdom Wednesday. But I wanted to talk briefly because I feel like it's a topic that needs to be discussed. So I'm going to give everybody a few minutes to hop in. I'm good, love. I'm actually detoxing. I will eat, but I'm detoxing. Hey, Kelly. Hey, y'all. Also, if you are joining the live, you're watching the live, please give the live a thumbs up. Also, if you're new to the channel, you enjoy my live sessions, and you enjoy my real talk, go ahead and subscribe now. Don't forget to hit the notification bell, all right? I'm gonna give everybody just a few little minutes to hop in. But we're gonna talk about, because you guys know that I'm constantly talking about self-care, self-love, loving self, self-awareness, right? Personal accountability. So tonight's discussion is, are you settling? That is a really big question. Are you settling? Am I settling? And it doesn't just have to do with relationships, but specifically, I am going to talk about relationships. I'm good, love. I am good. I made it home safely. Thank God. I made it home safely. I had to take it slow because people are disrespectful. Like, the snow was like falling so heavy. It's nighttime and you can't see. So people with bigger cars, like big trucks and stuff, they just fly by. So it just like throws snow all over you, so you can't see when you're on the interstate. So that was really, really difficult. But I just took my time. My life is too important to be like trying to rush. So that's why I told everybody like, hey, I'm gonna be a little bit late. Plus, I had a personal reading that I needed to do, and I got that done. I had other obligations, so I said, let me take care of that first and foremost, and so that's what I did. But thankfully, I made it home safely, and then also my prayers are out to everybody in Houston, Texas, because I know right now they are also experiencing really harsh winter weather, and I know some of them are without power right now, power or water. So yeah, keep them in your prayers. A lot of states, Nevada, Colorado, like they're really being hit hard. So I'm grateful. At least I still have water. I still have water. I have heat, right? So I have a lot of blessings to be grateful for. I actually worked today, so I was at work today. I was able to make it to work. So that's where we're at. But I wanted to talk about settling because so many times, especially us women, hey Nunu, yeah, hey Jamila, welcome back, love. So many times we end up settling for people or situations, whether it's friends, jobs, relationships, where we're just settling. We're just going with the flow. We're just going along with it, and we're not necessarily happy. Why? Why is that? Why do y'all think that is? Why do people settle? Why do we say, well, you know, I really don't like this person, but I'm just going to keep putting up with it? Why are you tolerating? What makes people just tolerate shit? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, if you don't like something, either you address it with whoever the issue you have is with, or you let it go. But a lot of people stay stuck in situations for long periods of time. Stuck at a dead-end job, stuck somewhere they're not happy, living somewhere they're not happy, in a state. You're right, Jamila. You are absolutely right. The codependency and fear of being alone. But where does that fear of being alone come from? right? Where does that come from? Why is it such a bad, why is it such a horrible thing to be single, to be alone? You're exactly right. You hit the nail right on the head. People sometimes have fear, because fear is a major block for a lot of people. They stay in toxic situations. They live with people they're not happy with. They don't even know where that relationship is heading, so they're just settling because they want to say they have a man or they want to say they have a woman. So they just tolerate the mess, and that's not healthy. Like, just settling, especially for, bare minimum. Bare minimum is like, it's a no no. That could be too, Melanie, childhood traumas as well. But it's like, why put up with something that is unhealthy, it's toxic, it's going nowhere? And then on top of putting up with it, you make excuses for it. You justify it. Well, he's not really like that all the time. Or he only does that when he's upset. You see what I'm saying? Those two phrases right there alone, trying to justify wrong behavior. He doesn't hit me all the time, just when we get into an argument. Um, just justifying the behavior. Well, he had a bad childhood. He had a bad childhood, or she had a bad childhood. She didn't have her mom, or she didn't have her dad growing up. So she's a bitch to everybody that she deals with, because anybody that comes into her life that wants a relationship with her, she completely scrutinizes them. She has unrealistic expectations, unrealistic goals, and thinks that the world revolves around her, and demands all of this attention because of the way she was treated in the past, or however she was raised, the stuff that she went through as a child. Just because somebody went through whatever they went through, whatever traumas they went through, it's not your responsibility to heal them. It's not your responsibility to cater and coddle them or enable them to, well, it's the way, that's how she's always been. So does that make it okay? He's always been that way. Does that make it okay? He's disrespectful, inconsiderate, selfish, rude. Does that make it okay? Should I continue to entertain it, and should I consider, leaving possibly? Damn right I should. I should consider leaving the whole situation, because it's not going to get any better until he does what? Until she does what? Work on self, hold himself or herself personally accountable for whatever happened or whatever transpired in their life to make them how they are as an adult. That's something that they have to learn to cope with, forgive, and be able to move forward. Because honestly, forgiveness is not about the other person. Some people have gone through horrible situations, and they've still come out to show love to other people. It's not an excuse because you went through trauma, or you had a bad marriage, or you went through a nasty divorce, or you were abused as a child, for you to start hurting other people. And so each individual person knows their traumas, which is why therapy is an important aspect of healing. Mm-hmm. Exactly, Melanie. Exactly. Which is why a lot of people, more than not, need to go to therapy. They need to see a counselor. They need to go to a psychiatrist. Whatever the situation is, if you're that broken, right? If you're that broken, guess what? You shouldn't be dating. You shouldn't be dating. And y'all are gonna laugh because y'all know what I be saying. You shouldn't be dating, and you shouldn't be having children with an unhealthy mindset, and you have no control over your emotions. You flip out. You accuse people of shit because you make stuff up in your mind because of fear and paranoia, because of all the things you've been through and all these horrible experiences you've had, and bad marriages or bad relationships, or as a child coming up. So you take that out on other people who come into your life who have nothing to do with it. Exactly, Kelly. Exactly. My trauma has nothing to do with you. which a lot of these connections where people are settling for bare minimum effort or half-assed effort is because they're trauma bonding. I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with that term, but the trauma bonding is real. Oh, well, I'm codependent. Oh, well, I'm selfish. Let's get together and be in a relationship. How is that healthy for either person? It's not at all. I'm selfish and I'm disrespectful. She's rude and she's demanding and she's codependent. It's a breeding ground for problems. It's a breeding ground for toxicity. So these two, because let's say he was raised by his grandmother as a child, and this one over here, she was abused by her father. So she takes it out on every man that comes into her life, and he treats every woman that comes into his life like a mother, like she's supposed to take care of him. He's entitled. He feels entitled. A sense of do y'all see what I'm saying here with two toxic individuals? Exactly, Jamila. This is exactly the comparison I made the other night with shit. I said if you have two toxic individuals carrying a pile of shit, this one here and this one here, and you put these two piles of shit together, it's a bigger pile of shit. Nothing gets cleaned up, nothing gets resolved. You can smell it from a mile away. I wish people carried toxicity like that because you could see it, smell it, and walk away from it. You wouldn't be like, oh, he's so attractive, because why? You could smell it. You could see it. But because you don't see the toxicity out on the outside, you think, oh, well, he looks like a decent person. What does looks have to do with his character? Looks is just a personality trait. Tall, skinny, slim, blue eyes, blonde hair. Those are personality traits. That's not who he is at the core of his character. Disrespectful is a character trait. Just like respectful, the opposite is a character trait. Dishonest is a character trait, just like honesty is a character. It's who you are. It's your values and moral principles as an individual that you were raised to be. Right, Melanie, that's what dating is all about. Dating is all about collecting data. It's all about collecting, gathering information. You're literally getting to know the person you're dealing with or you're thinking about dealing with. Dating is much like, and I always compare it to what I do. It's much like an interview process. You are trying to see, and keep this in mind too, ladies especially, because sometimes I think we forget that men also are in the market. So it's not just that you are looking for a qualified candidate, right? They too are looking for a qualified candidate. Like I said the other night, if you expect someone to be considerate of your feelings, then you need to be considerate of his, right? Because a shoe fits on both sides, right? So they too are doing the same thing. It's a screening process. And some of their screening processes are for the wrong reasons. Some people screen for the wrong reasons. Some people say, she looks vulnerable. She looks naive. She looks gullible. She looks very easy to take advantage of. I can get anything out of her. Money, sex, time, energy, it doesn't matter. I can get anything out of her because she's not serious. She's insecure. She doesn't love herself. She's always trying to get someone's attention. She's needy. She's always seeking attention. She doesn't like being alone. She's constantly blowing up my phone, coming across as desperate. You see what I'm saying? And then here you are. Right? Here's this woman in her mind. She's like, well, I really want a good man. I want him to have a good job. I want him to have a place. I want him to have transportation. I want somebody to love me, take care of me, all of this stuff, all of these requirements, right? You're looking for the right reasons. He's not. Do you see how it has to be aligned? We live and we learn, Jamila, and that's the good thing. So you see how your goals have to be aligned? You have to have the right intentions. Exactly, Melanie. They have to have the right intentions. Yeah. So you're right, Melanie. You're exactly right. It's not just women, it's men too. So just like some men do that, some women do the same thing. It's like this dude, I can seduce him. I can take his wallet. I can take his money. He's gonna cater to me. He's gonna pay for my nails to get done. He's gonna pay for my hair to get done. He's gonna buy my clothes. He's gonna pay my bills. He's gonna do all this type of stuff for me. And I'm not lifting a finger to do shit. Because that's what men are for. Do you see the mentality here? That's what men are for. They're supposed to provide. They're supposed to do this. They're supposed to do that. Right, Kelly? But that's literally how some women, they actually have a term for it. It's called, what is it? I've seen it before. I'm trying to think. It starts with an H. It starts with an H. If y'all know what I'm talking about, let me know. Exactly, Kelly. So it all comes back to who? Self. All about self improvement. You cannot successfully love, appreciate, value another person and what they bring to the table and what they offer until you do the same for yourself, right? So the reason a lot of people end up settling, from what I find and from my own personal experience, I ended up settling, and this is where I do agree. Exactly. Exactly, Kelly. You can't have expectations that are unrealistic. It honestly is better to go into a connection with no expectations, because when you have expectations, now don't get me wrong, there's a difference between expectations and standards. You have boundaries, you have standards, right? Hold your boundaries, stand firm on those boundaries, and keep your standards high. Expectations, well, I'm expecting, because I've given him my time, my energy, I'm expecting him to, in return, propose to me. That's not how people work. It's not how people work, right? But you already have this expectation in your mind. Well, if I do this and I have sex with him and I spend time with him and I go out with him and we're always together and I'm always blowing up his phone. I'm always calling him. I expect for him to be faithful. See how you just set yourself up for failure? Because what if he was dating several other people? What if he was talking to several other people? He may not he may not necessarily be in a relationship, but let's say you found out that before you, because he's trying to explore his options, and there's nothing wrong with exploring options. Before he started talking to you, he was talking to 3 or 4 other people. Well, you expected him automatically to say, lock in and say, oh, he's in a committed relationship with me. He's mine. Do you see it? So once you automatically expect that in your mind, you set yourself up for failure, especially if you don't communicate what your expectations are to the other party. Because then you're just assuming. You're assuming that he's going to do this. You're assuming that he's going to do that. And you cannot assume with another human being. You have to be clear about what your standards are or what your expectations are. Some people don't even know what they are. Some people don't even know, well, we're just together. Are you a couple? Well, I mean, I know he loves me, but are you a thing? Like, are you a couple? Who are you? He's like, well, we're just friends. And then she's offended because she thought, what do you mean I'm a friend? We've been talking and we've been together. What do you mean? Well, you never discussed being in a relationship. That was never on his agenda. That was never a topic. And so people, a lot of times, especially women, we tend to try to force monogamy on men. Like, we try to force them to be in a committed relationship. At the end of the day, that is a personal decision. He has every right to disagree. Let him choose. That's the problem. Women spend so much time and energy chasing after something. I want him to open up. I want to know how he feels about me. He's not going to feel anything but annoyed if you keep asking him the same damn question every time you have a conversation. Well, I want to get married. Every time you have a conversation, you're talking about marriage and kids. You're not enjoying the relationship at present. You're not enjoying your night out on the town. You're not talking about other things. Well, how's work going? Or what are we doing for the summer? What type of vacation are we planning? Oh, well, how's your business going that you just started? You see what I'm saying? If every time you have a conversation with this person, you're constantly bringing up what you want, it feels like you're trying to force this person to settle for what you want. You see what I'm saying? And I said it from a masculine point of view because as women, a lot of times we don't think about it that way, but that's exactly how it comes across. Well, I want a man that does this, and I want a man that does that, and I want to be married, and I want to have children. Do you hear I? What about we? What about him? What does he want? How does he feel? People don't stop to think about that. A lot of women don't stop to think about how a man actually views a relationship. He may not want a relationship right now. He may just tell you right now, it's safer for me to just be friends. Exactly, Kelly. You get so wrapped up in this fantasy in your mind, which is why y'all, I think it was Sunday night, I had made a video asking because I wanted to know other people's perspective about the whole twin flame concept. If people really think that twin flames are a real thing or this is like really just a label for toxic relationships. Because what I find as a reader a lot of times, and even from watching other readers do readings for other people, the twin flame connotation is a very toxic dynamic. There's love, there's feelings, there's emotion, there's lust, there's sex, there's in and out behavior, there's people playing games, there's unhealed traumas, unresolved issues. And so it's like, what about the other person? There's selfishness, there's pride, there's ego. Well, I'm not reaching out. Well, he's not reaching out. So nobody reaches out and the damn relationship goes nowhere fast. You see what I'm saying? Or everybody in this twin flame relationship, soulmate relationship, stays stuck because they don't want to piss the other person off. They don't want to hurt his feelings. Well, I don't want him to think that I'm not committed, or he doesn't want her to think that he's not committed, or that he doesn't love her, so he sticks around for all of her demands, all of her neediness, all of her insecurities, and the drama that she brings because she's so afraid of being left alone and she constantly needs his attention, so he sticks around for it. That's what I've seen. I could very well be wrong. They say it's not, Jamila, but I find that a lot of twin flame relationships carry a lot of karmic energy surrounded, and I think that's what deters me from that label, because they say that the twin comes into your life to help teach you certain lessons. So you mean to tell me I need another person to help me learn my lessons? Tell me why. Why do I need a man to teach me that lesson? Why can't I learn that lesson with my best friend at work? Why can't I learn that lesson dealing with my mom? Why can't I learn that lesson with, you know what I'm saying? Like, why does a relationship have to be that stressful, that toxic? Right, Kelly? Like, why is it that I have to learn self-love through push and pull, ghosting, silent treatment, disrespect, belittling? Why do women feel the need to learn that lesson in a twin flame relationship? Because right, so supposedly, and this is just according to research I've done on twin flame relationships, it's supposed to end up beautiful, happily ever after. You're supposed to be in union, right? After all the shit that's happened, you're supposed to end up being in union. How many twin flame couples really get married though? How many of them end up married, happily ever after? How does that work out? Because I know my twin, I could have beat his ass. That's how I felt about him. Because that's how much crap he put me through in the connection. We had an instant connection. It was strong. Like, even after he was ghosting me and giving me the silent treatment, my dumb ass was still trying to chase him and trying to give him the benefit of the doubt that he would be a better man. I was falling in love with his potential, not with who he really was showing me. I was falling in love with his representative, not with his real, authentic self. Because his real, authentic self was like an immature child that had not healed from whatever traumas he experienced, a lot of trauma as a child, and he carried that into his adult life. So he was engaged in other relationships where there was fighting and arguing and conflict and selfishness and rudeness, disrespect, and the only thing that he ever really, really loved were his children. He put everything into being a good father. So that, remember I was telling you about the trauma bonding? As I'm thinking about it now, that's exactly what happened. We trauma bonded because my father was not a part of my life. So me seeing him display that type of love towards his children made me more attracted to him and seeing potential. True, Melanie. Falling in love with the potential instead of actually seeing him for who he really was at his core. You have a lot of unresolved issues. You have a big ego problem. You don't like to apologize. You don't like to acknowledge your wrongdoings. I remember pointing out to him that I was tired of being given the silent treatment. I was tired of being disrespected in that type of light. And his excuse was that he was still healing and that he still hadn't gotten over the last relationship. Red flag, right? You need to be alone. You're not going to put me in a position to be a rebound relationship. That's not what we're going to do. You need to be alone. Stop chasing women, because what he was doing was trying to either use sex or, trying to quickly, how they have this saying that the only way to get over a breakup is to get back in another relationship? That's toxic as hell, because you haven't given yourself time to grieve. Anytime you have a breakup, that's like a loss. It's like a loss. So you haven't given yourself time to grieve, breathe, heal, acknowledge what happened, what went wrong there, so you understand the lesson, so that you can move forward. But no, people say, oh yeah, we broke up last week, but I'm seeing Mike now. John was great, but I'm seeing Mike now. And so what he was doing was hopping from person to person to try to fill these voids, because really his relationships were toxic because he was toxic. He was attracting low vibrational people. So you're fighting and arguing with your baby mama that you're not with. That's one woman. You fight and argue with another baby mama that you've got kids with that baby mama. That's two women. Do y'all see the pattern here? You fight and argue with me and treat me with disrespect and give me the damn silent treatment. That's three women. How many other women? You were in a relationship before I met you. That's four women. Do you see you see the problem here? Who's the problem here? With all the toxicity. Running. Exactly, Jamila. Running. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Problem. Him. Instead of fixing the problem, he just covers it up with another person. Well, I'll just go get another person. No, sir. Work, sit down, identify your emotions, acknowledge the hurt, acknowledge what you've been through, and say, you know what? I deserve better. The people that hurt me, I forgive them, and I'm ready to let that go so I can move forward. But no, instead it's, well, let me do this. Let me smoke. Let me drink. Let me have sex with these people, because that's going to make me feel better temporarily. Exactly, Jamila. Because that's what's going to make me feel better temporarily. No. So then it becomes, now he's in a position where he's just settling for half-ass relationships because he doesn't want to do the work, like you said, Jamila, take personal accountability and do the work to actually have a very beautiful, loving connection with someone, because he chooses to stay here when he could be here on cloud nine. So all of that to say, hey Aisha love. Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, like 99.9% of the time, when you have someone who's usually involved in a toxic connection like that, there's drugs usually involved. Exactly, Kelly. That's important. You need to breathe. You need to grieve. When you've lost someone, you do what? You take some time off to process what's happened. It's grief. You don't say, well, you know what? I'm just gonna get me another grandmother. If we don't do that with very close loved ones to us, why do we do it in relationships? That's my question. I'm gonna go get me another mom. You can't get a rebound mom. You can't get a rebound brother. You can't get a rebound child. So why do you have a rebound girlfriend? People don't think. They don't think. It's just impulse. Impulse. Well, it didn't work out between me and Rodney, so now I'm with Michael. So I'm over Michael. Wait, hold on. You and Rodney were just together 3 days ago. Yeah, but I met Michael, and girl, he is so girl. No, you haven't even grieved Rodney. What happened to Rodney? You haven't grieved Rodney. So now you're over here with Michael. You're carrying. So what you're going to do is, because you haven't grieved, you haven't had that Four Swords energy, right? You haven't grieved. So you're going to settle because you're so desperate now. Because you were looking for love from Rodney, but Rodney wasn't giving you love the way that you should have been loved. So now you're looking for love from Michael, and you're going to end up settling again. You're going to end up in the same pattern because, well, you didn't take time to do the work on self. You're running from self, and so you end up settling for less than you deserve because you don't love yourself enough. You can't tell me that you love yourself when you're constantly running person after person after person, relationship after relationship. You don't love yourself. Because if you did, you would give yourself a break, give yourself time to grieve, like we just talked about, heal, become a better version of yourself, whether that's mentally, physically, clear skin, a healthy weight, financially improved, right? Overall greatness. No. Let's go hop into another relationship. Exactly, Kelly. And a lot of people are addicted to coping. So they settle. Well, I don't really know what his intentions are towards me, but I love him. So tell us why you love him. He's a great person. How? Well, I mean, the sex is good. Okay, so does sex equate love? Last I checked, sex was sex. Sex was for procreating. Sex was for making babies. It doesn't mean that he's in love with you, because he can have sex. Dogs have sex. Doesn't mean he's in love with you. It does not. If you're wanting love, you have to do the work. You have to be able to test that person and see, okay, well, what are his intentions here? What is he showing me here? Outside of the sex, what else are you benefiting from this relationship? How is it going? How does he treat you? How does he speak to you? How is he affectionate? How is he considerate when you express hurt or pain? When you express that you've had a bad day at work, or you express that you feel strongly about something that was said to you? How does he react in those situations? You don't know, because he doesn't claim you. You only see him when it's convenient for him, when he's ready to see you. Hey, I'm passing through. Can I come over? No. No, sir. We don't do that here. It's not how we speak. Do you see what I'm saying? So then you settle for bare minimum just to say you have someone or you're in a relationship, because that's not really a relationship. Okay. He doesn't even call you his woman, his girlfriend, nothing. It's just, we just kicking it right now. This term, we just kicking it right now. What does that mean? If somebody can tell me what that means, please. What does that mean? Can we just enjoy each other? What does that mean? Can we just, sir, excuse me? You enjoy ice cream. I'm not a snack. I am, but that's a whole nother different topic for another day. exactly, Melanie. Like, what do you mean? What does that mean? No, no, sir, no. Exactly, Kelly. This is what I'm saying. Like, you're so desperate. Some people are so, exactly, Jamila. Some people are so desperate that they just settle for hookups or they just settle for the situationships. I've literally seen women say, "Girl, I know he ain't the one, but the sex is good, so I stay with him." So when you're ready for a commitment, how does that work out for you? I know he ain't the one, but we got kids together. So does that mean you're obligated to stay in an unhealthy relationship because you have kids together? So that means you're obligated to put up with his bullshit, to tolerate it. Even though you said something about it. Well, we got, I don't want to, because the kids, okay? All right. Well, I don't want his family. His family, they all really love me, and I don't want us to separate because they're going to feel some type of way. Why do you care about how they feel? Why are they a concern? Because you're in a relationship with him. He's supposed to be in a relationship with you. The excuses we come up with. Well, he said he's working on it. Okay, so what does working on it mean? What does working on it mean? What does that mean? Well, he's working on it. He's been working on it for 5 years. Right, Melanie? He's been working on it for 10 years. He's disrespectful, selfish, a jerk, and he's been working on it for 10 years. Do you think he plans on fixing it at this point? Probably not. I'm just saying, probably not. And you keep telling yourself in your mind, well, one day, Rodney's gonna get it together. One day, he's gonna stop talking to me crazy. One day, when that one day is gonna come? When you pack your shit and you leave. When you leave, that's when that one day is gonna come. The longer you sit there, the longer you keep talking. Hey, Queen Love. The longer you keep making excuses, the longer you keep settling, it never gets done. Because you're comfortable. You know what? That's what it is. A lot of people settle because they're complacent. They're comfortable where they are. You mean I could have $1 million if I did A, B, and C. But I'm okay with not having it. So I'm just going to stay right here. Somebody said all you have to do is drive from point A to point B every day. Will pay you 100 grand. Okay. You're comfortable where you are. You're like, nah, I'm gonna stay in the house. Because you're comfortable in the house. You don't want to drive from point A to point B. But they made you that offer and you declined. When you know you could do better, right? You know where you are. You're not happy where you are, but you stay there because you're comfortable. It's familiar. It's familiar to you. Some people, listen, and y'all, please be aware of these type of people because they really do exist a lot more than you would think. Right, Melanie? If women as a collective decided to do better for themselves, men would be forced to get their shit together. I'm just being honest about it. But a lot of women don't because they're so desperate. They're so needy that they don't just say, you know what, I'm done, goodbye. I told y'all I'm working on that shirt. Goodbye. I told my DM that this morning. I told him that because y'all know my 48-hour rule, right? He wanted to challenge me on it, and I was like, he was like, you can't just tell somebody that you're in love with that you're leaving after 3 days of no contact. I said, yes, I can. I absolutely can. And I had to put the scenario to him like this. If your child goes missing, which has literally happened, your child goes missing, he still lives at your home, even though he's 17, 18 years old. He goes missing for 3 or 4 days at a time. It's what? Because Aisha, we on the same page. He goes missing for 3, 4, 5 days at a time. What are you doing? Filing a what? A missing persons, right? So y'all tell me, because 1 plus 1 is 2. If I don't hear from my DM in 3, 4, 5 days, should I not be concerned? And he's not responding to any of my calls or texts or anything. I'm gonna take that as a yes. I should be concerned. I should be concerned. And then I'm gonna go ahead and end that relationship because I'm not going to stress myself. I don't need additional stress. I don't need additional stress, right? We don't need additional stress. Because just like you would with a child, right? Exactly, Aisha. And it's funny you say that because I told him that. I said, well, you know, I'm already calling my other dude. He was like, oh, you can't say that. You can't. I said, yes, I can. I said, it's a wrap. Because if you go missing 3, 4 days with no communication, how you know he's in a position he can't talk? That's what he's telling you, you know, all these excuses. What if I can't talk? What if something's wrong with me? What if this? What exactly, Jamila? Boy, bye. What if something happened to me or something like that? I said, that's what you have a phone for. That's what a grown man has a phone for. It's for communication. So if you disappear for 3 to 4 or 5 days at a time, the common decent thing to do is to call or text somebody and say, hey, this is what's going on. If it's an emergency, hopefully somebody, a family member, a friend, a foe, hell, I don't give a fuck. Somebody is going to call me and say, this is what's going on. We haven't seen him, because that would make sense. That would make sense. But for you to tell me that I have to put up with you disappearing for days at a time, I think not. I think not. Now, granted, because we had this conversation. Exactly, and that's exactly what I explained, Melanie. I said, especially when you're accustomed to dealing with fuck shit from people, 9 times out of 10, exactly, 9 times out of 10, if a man goes missing 4 or 5 days at a time, it's because he's entertaining someone else somewhere else. He's not answering his phone. It's turned off. Something else is going on that he doesn't want you to know about. Whatever that is. It may not necessarily be another female, but something shady is going down. 9 times out of 10. Now that 1%, right? That 1%, you know, that just happens. Right, Aisha? Y'all are cracking me up right now. That 1%, because 99% of the time, it's fuck shit. If he's not answering and he's gone for several days at a time, and if it's a week, oh, it's definitely over. If I haven't heard from you, seen you, got a letter, a text, an email, nothing in 7 days, it is a wrap, sir. We are done. So usually that's the case. So there's that 1 little percent that you might be dying. Somebody might be holding you against your will. You somewhere held hostage. That little 1 small percent of the time that something out of your control has happened. You're stuck on the side of the road, broke down, something like that. But again, you're a grown up. So wherever you go, right? Wherever you go, you have a phone, correct? So if I don't hear from you in 48 hours, I'm calling the feds. They coming looking for you. You file a missing persons. That's because that's what normal people do. If you're concerned, if you give a damn. If there's somebody that you deal with like that, that's like my mom. If I don't hear from my mom within a week, I'm going to her house because I don't see my mom every day. I don't talk to her every day. But if I don't hear or see my mom within 7 days or sooner, I'm going to go see her. And if she doesn't answer, then I'm even more concerned and I'm calling to do a wellness check. because that's important. Something could be going on. That's what normal people do. So, as much as ghosting is glorified, it's horrible. Because what if something, it's like crying wolf. What if something really is wrong with this person, but you're so used to them being in and out, in and out, in and out all the time, that if something really seriously was wrong, how would you know? Who's gonna know? Who's gonna know? Because they're always, well, he goes, sometimes he'll be gone for a day, 2 days, a week, 2 weeks, a damn month. We don't know. Last time we seen him, he was over at so-and-so's house. Sir, you are an adult. The normal thing to do is keep in contact with people, especially people you're in a relationship with, kids, wife, girlfriend, mother. Like, that's just common sense. It's normal common sense. Hey, Riri. Right, Jamila? Exactly, Melanie. Or at least send me it. If you can't talk, text. That's what texting was invented for. For those of us, who have throat chakra problems, you text. If you can tap like somebody's picture, you can send a text. I'm on my way. I'm working late. I'll be there shortly. It's not rocket science. It's just called effort. It's effort. It's just the effort. It's the effort that you put in. That's what it is. Because his argument was that, somebody could be in a position where they're not able to contact you or whatever. And I'm like, I understand that, but how often does that happen? How often does that happen? Where you just can't contact anybody for 5 days. How often does that happen? So, anywho, y'all, that's that. But for those who are late coming in, we were talking about settling, right? Why some people choose to settle, because they're complacent where they are. They don't know their own worth, so they feel like any little bit of attention, any little bit of affection is good, better than none. The saying, some is better than none. So some people feel that, but the problem with that is you're not getting 100% of what it is that you're wanting. So you're just settling, you're just tolerating. And when you tolerate, a human being can only tolerate so much. It's like soda in a bottle, right? When you shake it up and you shake it up, and it can only withstand so much pressure before that bottle pops open because of the pressure inside of it. See what I'm saying? Right. So the trend of, you're exactly right, Kelly. And that's even worse. If they have those types of illnesses on top of ghosting, that's not a good sign. Because how do you know that they haven't hurt themselves? You may be able to step in and help save their life if they just communicated, if they just sent a text or something. But to just go completely missing, not cool at all. And I'm not finna be stressed. I'm not finna do it for nobody. I'm not finna be stressed. You got that many problems. Right. That's a good one, Melanie. It's the effort for me. I'm gonna make that one a shirt. It's the effort for me. Yeah, that's what matters most. It's the effort. I'm not settling for bare minimum. I'm not settling for half-ass. It's either you are or you are not. To be or not to be. That's the question. Settling is the problem. Boundaries, the lack of boundaries is the problem. Just so y'all know. So, but yeah, that was the topic for tonight, lovelies. Hopefully tomorrow night I will probably do some readings. So make sure y'all hop in. if you're interested. I know a lot of people come in because they're expecting to get readings. Um, but this wasn't the night for it. Wednesday nights are always real talk night. So if y'all have any ideas for the next Wednesday night for what topics, let me know. Okay, let me know. But I hope you guys have a good evening. Love y'all, and thank you so much for all the love and support. Until tomorrow night.